it's a dope project. It's really cool. I'm still listening to it. I listened to it. I listened to it again. I gave it a break, and then I listened to it, and then I'm gonna listen to it further again and again. And I don't think I should. It deserves one piece of critique. I think you know just continuous critique is what I'm going to look at, because I'm looking at different things whenever I listen to it. First time I listened to it, obviously, was just for the musicality. I feel like in the first half of the album, until the song after the song about his dad, I think it's Hey Miss East London, you can see actually the song about his dad, you can actually see that he has divided the album in two, or I think, yeah, the project in two. The first half is, the first half is a bit darker in terms of its sound. It's more grungier. And it's more in terms of concepts. There's concepts, and then in terms of the second half sounds more like he was flexing lyrically, trying to show what he's capable of. The beat are more, the beat are more leaning towards what could be more, not commercial or mainstream rather, but it's leaning towards that. And I'm not saying that as a good thing or a bad thing. It's just an observation. I could be completely wrong, but I feel like the second half, as well as you can hear the first half of the tape, the project is more grungier. There's more of old Tyler the Creator, of old L Sweatshirt, in terms of his style as well. You could hear some Eminem there for obvious reasons. The intro was obviously from, the Slim Shady and the Marshall Mathers LP. I think even the Eminem show with the public service announcement thing. I also like the use of kids in two of the songs. I really like that. Ward 9 is one of my favorite songs. It's brilliant. So I feel like, I enjoyed the first half of the tape more than I did the second half. I felt the first half was more, it felt to me like it was more structured. It was more, it was more structured. It was more thought through. And then the second half felt to me like it was, it was more like, screw this shit. I'm just gonna finish this thing now. It wasn't rushed to anything, but it felt to me like it was more like, what, I've been holding this thing back for too long and I'm just gonna do it. I could be completely wrong, and that's fine. But yeah, it just felt to me, not that it was rushed, but it just felt like first half was more thought through. It has a dope of like, in terms of each song has a nice flow from one song to the other, and then the second half is more, it's not that way. It's more carefree, like it was like a carefree thing. It's more carefree. But yeah, I liked how the influences come out. You can hear the influences, the artists who influenced him a lot, but you can hear a lot of him out there. I do feel, however, that, as brilliant, I like the sarcasm, I like the humor there. I don't necessarily have a figure of speech, or rather can say the figure of speeches that he uses, but I like his use of humor to laugh at himself, to laugh at his situation, to, his use of humor to take what is serious issues and flip it. The song about his dad as well it's triumphant. You can hear so much pride about how he feels about his dad, about what his father meant to him, and you don't feel sorry for him, you don't feel bad, you don't feel like, shame for him in how he talks about his dad. You feel like, yeah, man, your dad was gangster. And that's dope. I like that. I like that. And I feel like throughout the tape, I felt like, as much as there were certain parts where he talks about his situation and he's bipolar and stuff like that, I felt like more of that should have come out. I feel like um, more of that should have come out in the same way we see how his bipolar has affected his relationships as well, or his relationship with his girl and stuff like that. I like that. But I feel like more of that should have come out. I feel like as dope as the punchlines were, I would have loved it personally, but that's preference. It's not a bad thing or anything, but personally, I would have loved if the punchlines and the use of his style and the use of his humor was more leaning on towards more commentary. He's tackling a very serious issue here, and I would have loved it in the same way where, because I hear, because of the influence, for example, with the Slim Shady LP and the Marshall Mathers LP, how, for example, what I'm saying with commentary. Wait, let me just record another voice note. Like with the commentary, by commentary I mean, like, you see how Slim Shady approached the Slim Shady, or Eminem approached the Slim Shady LP, where you can see that this guy is some kind of serial killer and a freak because of how he was bullied. Basically, when we meet Stan, we see when we meet Stan in Marshall Mathers LP, we see how, or we understand why Stan became the way he was, and we understand the character of how Eminem came out from all that bullying, from all that negativity, and how he was able to express all that, and how when you see Stan and you see how he's handling fame and how he's seeing life from a political standpoint, you understand it from the first album and why he was like that. And I feel like with the next project, whatever he does, I feel like it should be a continuation of that. Go a bit deeper, let's see your mindset. Let's find out more about this mindset, how this bipolar thing is affecting him and all that stuff, more, and work on that, on deepening that relationship and expressing himself in that particular way, but not in a way where we feel sorry for him, not in a way where we feel like, oh man, feel sorry for him or whatever, but in the same way that he's able right now through his content, how he's able to laugh at himself, how he's able to use wit and wordplay and stuff like that to express himself, and the perfect templates being the song about his dad, Ward 9 as well, and that song where he talks about his girlfriend and how she cheated on him, and when he found her, then she was like, no, because your dick was small, stuff like that. Like, that looked, for me, that sounded real. That wasn't a far-fetched story. That was like, oh, that's funny, you know what I'm saying? And even if you kind of exaggerate, or rather he kind of exaggerates, I feel like he should use that wittiness for commentary, continue to go a bit deeper into that commentary. And if he's got a punchline that is weird or funny, or that it needs to kind of like tie in to the story, to what he's saying, you know what I'm saying? But I loved it, man. I'm loving the tape, and I'm loving this project, and I'm just gonna continue listening to it, and I'll give more feedback as we go along.